In the stillness before dawn, the warrior listens, not to the world, but to the storm within. Long before empires rose and fell, the ancient masters of Ninpo understood a truth that echoes through eternity. Discipline is the fire that forges the unbreakable. Steel is not born strong. It is tempered through flame, hammered without mercy, and cooled in silence. So too is the human spirit. Without fire, it remains soft. Without resistance, it remains ordinary. But through the way of the warrior, through Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel, the spirit becomes unyielding. For the next 100 days, you are not merely training your body, you are reshaping your essence. You are walking the hidden path of the Shinobi no Kokoro, the heart of the ninja, where stillness meets ferocity, where patience becomes power, and where every breath, every repetition, becomes a silent act of rebellion against weakness. The Ninpo system is not just a method, it's a mirror. It reflects the truth of who you are beneath comfort and doubt. Every challenge you face, every day you rise before the sun, will test the limits of your endurance and demand you forge your own code, your personal Bushido. A sacred oath to never surrender to the softness of the modern world. If you are ready to embrace this transformation, to burn away the unnecessary and awaken the warrior within, comment, "I'm ready," subscribe, and join this brotherhood of discipline. Thank you for standing with a tribe that refuses to yield, that chooses fire over ease and mastery over mediocrity. In the silent world of the warrior, endurance is not a choice. It is a sacred vow. Pain is not the enemy, it is the ancient teacher that whispers truths comfort will never reveal. To endure silently is to become one with struggle, to accept its presence not as punishment, but as purification. The path of Ninpo demands that you face suffering with stillness, not resistance. When the muscles scream and the mind trembles, the warrior breathes deeply, anchoring himself in the present moment. This is the realm where ordinary men fall, yet the disciplined rise. The art of silent endurance is a dialogue between spirit and pain, a test of how deeply you can trust your own strength when the world offers no applause, no reward. Only the echo of your own heartbeat in the storm. The ancient samurai called this state Fudoshin, the immovable mind. It is the mental fortress built through repetition, through the grind of unrelenting practice when no one is watching. The warrior learns to carry pain like a familiar shadow, not as an obstacle but as part of his identity. He does not cry out when fatigue takes over or when failure stings. Instead, he sharpens his resolve like a blade under pressure. Every moment of discomfort becomes a forge. Every breath through pain becomes a hammer strike, shaping his spirit. The silence is not emptiness. It is power restrained, focused, and weaponized. To endure without complaint is to master not just the body, but the ego that demands recognition for its suffering. True endurance is not measured by how long you can fight, but by how long you can remain composed in chaos. Pain strips away illusion. It reveals whether your purpose is rooted in vanity or vision. When the Ninpo practitioner moves through hardship, he discovers that the battle is never external, it is always within. The muscles burn, the breath shortens, but the will sharpens into clarity. In this state, the warrior becomes one with Mujo, the impermanence of all things. He understands that suffering passes, but the strength born from it remains eternal. He does not chase comfort, he invites challenge. He does not seek sympathy, he seeks mastery. The art of moving through pain without complaint transforms endurance into meditation, motion into meaning, and hardship into harmony. To walk this path is to accept that no one will ever fully understand your journey. And that's exactly how it should be. The warrior's endurance is not for display. It is a private covenant with the spirit. When others quit, you continue. When others seek escape, you seek depth. In silence, you learn that discipline is not loud or glamorous. It is raw, personal, and often unseen. The Ninpo way teaches that pain is not the end of strength, but the beginning of transformation. Each scar, each moment of fatigue, each silent victory builds a soul of steel beneath a calm exterior. In the art of silent endurance, the warrior becomes unshakable, not because he feels nothing, but because he has learned to move through everything. In the way of the warrior, passion burns brightly, but it is precision that sustains the flame. Passion without control is wildfire, beautiful but destructive. Precision, however, is the disciplined shaping of energy into form, purpose, and perfection. In the Ninpo system, every strike, every stance, every breath is intentional. The warrior learns that excitement fades, but refinement endures. To act with precision is to eliminate waste, not just in movement, but in thought, emotion, and action. Each motion becomes a reflection of inner order. The ancient masters understood that passion begins the journey, but precision completes it. The warrior's goal is not to move fast, but to move right. Not to feel powerful, but to be powerful through mastery of detail. True power is quiet, efficient, and exact. The samurai trained for decades to perfect a single cut, a single draw of the sword, not because they sought applause, but because they sought oneness with the act. In Ninpo, this same spirit lives on. When you train with precision, you sculpt discipline into muscle memory. The body becomes the vessel of the mind, and the mind becomes the guide of the spirit. Every repetition is a ritual, each one an offering to mastery. The warrior knows that one careless motion can cost everything, so he cultivates stillness before speed, alignment before aggression. Through precision, chaos dissolves into clarity. The smallest movement, executed with perfect form, becomes more powerful than 1,000 frantic strikes. In stillness, precision is born. Passion may ignite you, but it can also deceive you. The heat of emotion can blur your vision, leading you to force where finesse is required. The Ninpo way teaches you to transform emotion into exactness, to channel intensity through focus. This is the art of Seishin Tanren, the forging of the spirit through mindful repetition. The warrior doesn't chase excitement, he seeks balance. Each motion, each breath, is calibrated to align with purpose. Precision is not just physical, it is mental discipline, emotional control, and spiritual awareness fused into a single act. Through years of refinement, the warrior learns that mastery is not about more, it's about less, but better. When precision becomes your instinct, even stillness becomes a weapon. To live with precision is to honor the path. It is to move through life like a blade drawn from the scabbard, clean, deliberate, without hesitation. Every action, from the smallest gesture to the grandest pursuit, reflects the warrior's discipline. When you strike, strike with intent. When you rest, rest with presence. This is how the Ninpo practitioner transcends mediocrity. By turning every motion into meditation, every decision into art. Precision is not cold, it is pure. It transforms passion into purpose and chaos into creation. When every motion becomes an act of devotion, the warrior achieves mastery, not through force, but through perfect harmony between body, mind, and spirit. Before the first light touches the horizon, the warrior is already awake. The world still sleeps, but he moves through the silence like a shadow embracing purpose. This is the ritual of the dawn, a sacred time when discipline is sharpened in solitude. The Ninpo way teaches that victory is not born in battle, but in the quiet hours before it. Rising early is not merely a habit, it is a declaration of dominance over weakness. Each breath taken before sunrise is a whisper to the universe, I will not be ruled by comfort. The warrior knows that how he greets the dawn determines how he will face the day. The cold air becomes his ally, the stillness his teacher. He trains not to impress, but to align his spirit with the rhythm of discipline. In these early hours there is no noise, no distraction, only you and your will. The mind is clear, the world unclaimed. This is the time when warriors build their inner fortress. The act of rising before the world awakens, rewires your spirit. It rewrites your identity. You no longer chase motivation, you embody it. The ritual of the dawn teaches you to replace excuses with execution. Every sunrise is a symbol of rebirth, a chance to replace execution. Every sunrise is a symbol of rebirth, a chance to replace execution with execution. Every sunrise is a symbol of rebirth, a chance to replace execution. When you greet it with intent, you signal to your subconscious that the mission has begun. The Ninpo practitioner understands that in stillness there is movement. In solitude there is strength. The dawn is not just the start of a day, it is the testing ground of your resolve. The world may see only another morning, but the warrior sees an opportunity to expand his limits. As the sky bleeds into light, the body awakens through disciplined repetition, breathwork, training, meditation. Each movement is deliberate, synchronized with purpose. This is not about perfection, it is about presence. The warrior becomes a living manifestation of Shin, the true self, awakened through commitment. To rise before the sun is to command the day before it commands you. The Ninpo system embeds this truth deep within its philosophy. Discipline is not what you do when it's easy, it's what you do when no one sees. When others wake to chase comfort, the warrior has already conquered inertia. The sweat of the early morning becomes his offering to greatness. The ritual of the dawn is a conversation between the self you are and the self you're becoming. It is the meeting point between will and world, between the ordinary and the extraordinary. By greeting the dawn with unwavering discipline, the warrior affirms his path, a path that requires silence, sacrifice, and relentless consistency. The rising sun becomes a mirror, reflecting not what you are, but what you've chosen to become. Each morning the warrior is reborn, not by chance but by choice. This is the beginning of all mastery. This is the discipline that builds worlds unseen. Deep within every warrior lies a silent flame, a force neither taught nor given, but awakened through trial. This is Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel, the unyielding spirit that refuses to bend under pressure. Fire is the great purifier, burning away weakness until only essence remains. To harness it is to walk the edge between destruction and rebirth. The Ninpo system teaches that this fire must not be feared, but mastered. It is the sacred forge where character is shaped, where doubt is melted, and where resilience is born. The warrior who ignites his inner flame no longer needs motivation, he becomes it. Each challenge becomes fuel, each failure a spark, each victory a reminder that strength is forged, not found. The fire within is both weapon and wisdom, a light that burns brightest in the darkest hours. To cultivate Hagane Ishi is to confront every moment of hesitation and transform it into motion. When fatigue whispers surrender, the fire answers with defiance. This flame is not loud or chaotic. It burns steady, silent, unstoppable. The samurai understood that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to advance through it. In the Ninpo discipline, the warrior embraces discomfort as a divine teacher, knowing that growth lives in the furnace of persistence. The more the world tries to extinguish the flame, the more fiercely it burns. The will of steel is not inherited. It is earned through countless small acts of endurance, through the daily choice to rise, train, and stay unwavering when ease calls your name. The fire within must be balanced. Too little and your spirit dims, too much and it consumes you. The disciplined warrior does not allow his flame to rage uncontrollably. He channels it with precision. This balance transforms raw emotion into refined energy. Every drop of sweat, every restrained impulse, every deliberate movement becomes an offering to the inner forge. In these moments, the body hardens, but the heart softens, filled not with rage but with purpose. This is the paradox of Hagane no Ishi. Strength and serenity, power and control, heat and harmony. The warrior learns that true fire does not destroy. It refines. It turns pain into patience and effort into excellence. To harness the will of steel is to become unshakable. When storms arise, you do not falter, you burn brighter. When others lose faith, you remain anchored in your own light. The Ninpo warrior carries his fire as a sacred torch, illuminating the path for those still lost in shadow. This flame does not depend on applause or recognition. It lives in the quiet conviction that you are enough, yet never done. Each day you fan the fire through discipline, through consistency, through the unspoken promise that no obstacle will break you. This is not mere motivation. It is metamorphosis. The warrior's fire is eternal, not because it cannot be extinguished, but because he never stops feeding it. In the heart of battle, chaos reigns, swift, ruthless, and unpredictable. Yet the true warrior does not seek to control the battlefield, he seeks to control himself. This is the essence of the Shinobi mind, the mastery of inner order amidst outer disorder. The ninja and samurai both understood that victory begins not with the sword, but with the stillness of thought. When the mind is turbulent, even the strongest body falters. When the mind is calm, even the weakest strike lands with purpose. The Shinpo mind is the art of staying unmoved in motion, clear in confusion, composed in crisis. It is awareness without attachment, focus without tension. The Ninpo system trains this mental stillness as a weapon, one sharper than any blade. To command yourself is to command every situation. The Shinobi mind is forged through patience and observation. The warrior learns to see without reacting, to sense the unseen currents beneath human emotion and circumstance. He practices zanshin, the state of total awareness, where mind and body remain ready even after the battle seems won. The modern practitioner must apply this same awareness to life. Distractions, temptations, and fears are the new battlegrounds. Through meditation, breathing, and deliberate silence, the warrior cleanses his perception of noise. He trains not just to think clearly, but to see truly. The Ninpo discipline is not about eliminating chaos, but transforming it into clarity. When the world shouts, the shinobi listens. When others rush, he waits. When uncertainty rises, he remains still as the mountain, fluid as water. To command the self is to master emotion, the most dangerous weapon and the most fragile weakness. Anger, fear, and desire are storms that can either destroy or empower, depending on how they're harnessed. The shinobi mind does not deny emotion. It studies it, understands it, and redirects it. This is the heart of Mushin no Shin, the mind without mind. It is not emptiness, but liberation from chaos within. The warrior no longer fights his feelings, he transforms them into focus. In the Ninpo path, the mind becomes a mirror, reflecting all, absorbing nothing. To achieve this, one must let go of the need to control others and instead master the rhythm of one's own thoughts. When your mind becomes your ally, no opponent can defeat you. In the silence of a disciplined mind, the warrior discovers a rare power, peace amidst pressure. The shinobi mind does not crumble under fear or stress. It thrives within them. Every breath becomes an act of command, every pause an act of strength. The world may swirl in chaos, but the warrior moves with purpose, guided by clarity that cannot be shaken. This is the final stage of mastery, not in muscle, but in mind. To live with the shinobi mind is to embody serenity and strength as one. You do not run from chaos, you walk through it as if born from it. In that quiet command, the warrior transcends battle itself, becoming not just a fighter, but a force of harmony in a world ruled by disorder. In the end, the journey of Build Warrior Discipline with Ninpo System in 100 days is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were always meant to be. Beneath hesitation, beneath distraction, beneath comfort, there lies a force ancient and indestructible. Through silent endurance, you learn to move through pain without complaint. Through precision over passion, you learned that mastery is built on focus, not frenzy. Through the ritual of the dawn, you rose before the world, proving that your will commands your life. Through the fire within, you ignited Hagane, Ishi, the will of steel, that turns adversity into armor. And through the Shinobi mind, you gain dominion not over others, but over yourself. Discipline is not punishment. It is liberation, the freedom that comes from self-command. Every repetition, every moment of stillness, every act of restraint is a sacred forging of spirit. You are not chasing greatness, you are crafting it, one day, one choice, one breath at a time. The Ninpo path does not end at 100 days. It begins there. What you build in these 100 days will echo for a lifetime, because it is not muscle or skill that defines a warrior. It is the relentless will to rise when the world falls silent. So as you stand now at the threshold of your own transformation, remember this. Steel is not born strong, it is made strong. And so are you. Let this discipline become your armor, your compass and your creed. Walk the path with courage, with clarity and with quiet fire. For those who endure, who refine and who rise, victory is inevitable. You are the flame that cannot be extinguished. You are the warrior forged in silence, tempered by struggle and destined for mastery. Now go and live as proof that discipline conquers all.